Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the United Stand. Slightly earlier show tonight at 7 o'clock because everybody wants to watch our captain Harry Maguire lead out England against Germany. Don't forget, after this show is finished, join Mark over on That's Football. He will be giving full watch along, full coverage of that game. Should be entertaining, especially if Harry's in that team. We all know how Gareth loves Harry Maguire. Can't do a thing wrong for England. It's be interesting to see how he performs tonight against that Germany team. But yeah, we still have got plenty to get through on the United front. Obviously, you've seen the thumbnail there. Now, it is hotting up for Darwin Nunez. Apparently, Newcastle are United's main competitors now in the race to sign Darwin Nunez. It'll be interesting. We're going to get into that in a minute. Interesting article from the Italian super agent, Roberto De Fante, in terms of Marcus Rashford and what's been going on there. Slightly misleading reports. More in-depth sort of talk on what has actually gone on over the last couple of months with Marcus Rashford, who has actually been interested in him. That, as well as a bit of an update on Frankie de Jong. And obviously, guys, get your comments in. Get in with everything that I'm talking about and let me know what you think on all topics as well. Let's get into it. I'm going to start, obviously, with Nunez again. I've had many of shows where I've talked about Darwin Nunez and how I don't think this deal will happen. United have got genuine interest in this. We know this. There's been a few reports now saying United are well and truly in for Darwin Nunez. And we know they are, but my biggest problem, and this was highlighted quite early in the transfer window, especially when we knew that United were interested in Nunez, was the old Champions League. He'd already come out and said he wants to play Champions League with this move. An £80 million signing, Darwin Nunez, is going to attract Premier League. It's going to attract Champions League teams. That's what I think he's looking for. As you can see there on your screen now, Manchester United and Newcastle are bidding for Darwin Nunez and are currently the teams closest to signing the Benfica striker. I'm just going to say something right now. If this comes down to Manchester United and Newcastle, I don't think it will be by the end. I do think there'll be other parties interested in this. If it is Manchester United and Newcastle, and we go off what, say, Murto said the other week, or reported what Murto said, and if this is true, then this is why I don't think United will get Nunez. Manchester United will not play any, quote, United premium for any player this summer. So if United are in with Newcastle for the signing of Nunez, then we can say goodbye. If he is talking to Newcastle and United, why would he go to United ahead of Newcastle? Europa League isn't a big draw. It really isn't. Newcastle are a team on the up, and Newcastle hold the advantage in terms of finances. They will pay exactly what Benfica will want. They will pay exactly what Nunez and his agent want, more importantly, in terms of wages. United can't compete with it. If Murto is going to stick to his word and Manchester United are going to stick to their guns and say we're not paying overinflated prices just because it's Manchester United, then Newcastle can come and swoop in. One good thing that Mike Ashley did leave at Newcastle was zero debt. So Newcastle can go to town in terms of financial fair play for the first year and hold all the cards if they're in for anyone. It's just if that player is going to get attracted by the pound signs rather than what he's originally come out apparently and said in terms of Champions League football. Champions League football isn't going to happen, as we know, for either Newcastle or Manchester United. So I think all it would take in this instance would be a Liverpool coming in if Mane went, put their name in the equation. I think Liverpool would structure a deal like they always seem to do. The Mane money would go right in on that. They just put money back in what they've taken, what they've made from the club. And if Nunez is true to his words that he wants Champions League football, then he will go to Liverpool. There may be other big fish looking at Nunez. And this is why I don't think United will get Nunez. United are going to have to do the biggest charm offensive in the world. And it's a charm offensive for a player, I say unproven. Yeah, he's had a decent little run in the Champions League this year. No disrespect to the Portuguese league, but we bought a left-back who looked the real deal playing for Porto in Alex Telles, and we all know how he's turned out in the Premier League. You have to be very careful if you're going to commit this amount of money to a team with a new manager and obviously a team that needs to sort of gel together again. There's a lot of players coming into Manchester United, as there's a lot of players going out. It's going to be a new, fresh team, and is he willing to come into a project which is in its first pre-season, its first season, new management, under new directors of football, scouting says the whole club is getting a revamp this summer. Is that where a young striker wants to go? That's the question I'm going to pose. And that's why I still think and have reservations regarding Nunez coming to Manchester United. I don't personally see it happening. Not at that price. I really don't. I don't think it's going to fit with how we're looking to spend. I mean, there's loads of reports out today that Manchester United are looking at 5 players. 5 players, and you're about to spend 80 on one? Nah, I mean, even when we did the interactive show the other day regarding what players to come in for the prices that have been sort of put out there by the media and transfer centre, that it's very difficult to get that amount of players in of the quality that we need. And for me, looking at it, I'm going to go, well, nah, I don't actually see it happening. I don't see Nunez coming to Manchester United. I don't know what you guys think, but honestly, I look at it and I go, too much money for that amount of players, if that is true. And it is a bigger risk to spend that amount of money. I know that he's got his qualities. We talked about it endlessly here on United Stand, what Nunez brings. But the facts for me are that it's a risk. It's a lot of money. It's a good chunk of our budget and isn't priority position. Priority position, as we know, is in that midfield where we've just lost another 4 players and was already lacking in quality. All we've got left right now in our central midfield is McFred and Donny coming back. That is it, pretty much. That's all we've got. So I do believe that Manchester United will look at the midfield first. Like they said, the reports have come out and said there is genuine interest for Manchester United for Darwin Nunez, but it's at early stages, and that's where I think, United are just treading water with this one, just testing it and seeing where it goes, because I just don't think United will commit that much money too early. In terms of the actual transfer market now, it's not looking great, but I did say, look, I'll hold sort of judgment. I'll wait till the actual international break is finished. Then we'll see exactly what's happening. Obviously, the window doesn't open until Friday the 10th. Don't be kidded into thinking, oh, that's it. That's why we've not signed anyone. Obviously, deals can still be made, and we've seen other clubs make deals that we probably should have been in on or looking at. But that is the problem that we've got at the moment. I would say give it till the end of June, then we may start seeing some movement. If it doesn't by then I'll start to get a little bit concerned, because, like I said, the tour starts on the 12th of June. So we need to be ready, and we need to be seeing players in United shirts and working under Ten Hag. So transfer market off to a slow start, but we'll just hold out. I think after the international break finishes, then we may see a little bit more action, but I don't think till the end of June, maybe the start of July. I think that's when United's pre-season. That's when United's transfer window will kick into gear. For me personally, I don't see it going past that. But again, going back to Nunez, and people have said there in the comments, I can see them all coming through, we need to sign Nunez. Nunez is worth it. I don't think he is. And do you know what? You look at it from a player's perspective right now. If I'm Darwin Nunez, I'm going, okay, good season for Benfica. I've got to make the next step now. Manchester United are in for me. Okay, big name, no problem. Plenty of history. It will be a headline move for me. But look at Paul Pogba. Look at Donny van de Beek. Look at these players. Look at Edison Cavani. Look at what's happening to these players. Leaving United worse off than when they came in. This has to sort of click in with players when they're looking. Your agents will say, yeah, they're offering this much. It's this. This is the project. And like I said before, this is where Ten Hag comes in and has to do the biggest sell of his career to try and get players in at Manchester United to convince them that, look, we're not going to be out of the Champions League for long. Other teams are strengthening around us. And this is why I always said I think Europa League needs to be right up there on the priority list for United next season in terms of what we actually go for, because that is your backdoor entrance back into the Champions League. I do think we have to take it seriously all the way through. No mistakes. And if you do get through as top of the group, then you don't play that round of 32 game either. That's a new rule that kicked in this season for that. So there are benefits to the Europa League this season. And I think United need to prioritise that. But as players looking at Manchester United now, it's a different ballgame. They'd have seen the best come to United and come away looking the worst. And that's what's happened with an awful lot of players. And yeah, Ten Hag can say everything he wants to say. That, yeah, I've got this project now. It's me in charge. It's not what it was before. That won't be happening under my tenure here at Manchester United. He can say this, he can say that. But at the end of the day, you've got to look at the facts. And the facts are, it's his first season. No one knows exactly how Ten Hag is going to do, although the signs look positive. But it's going to take time. Are these players willing to give them their careers a couple of years? Are they willing to do what Donny van der Beek did, which is lose 2 years of his career since signing for Manchester United? That is big, and you've got to look at it from a player's side of it. And Nunez on that, the price, where we're looking to strengthen. If we did sign him, very good, well done United. I'd still have my concerns though, because there are better teams out there where Nunez could be going. Why has he come to Manchester United? Is it all about the project? I'm not putting a slant on the player's sort of attitude and what he's looking at and what he's prioritising, but everything rolled into one for me in this deal still tells me no, I just don't see it. I'm all too willing to be surprised and something happens, but honestly, I don't actually see Nunez happening for Manchester United. And I'll keep saying that. Until I see something concrete. I'm not seeing anything at the moment that convinces me that this is going to happen, because all it's going to take is that one big team, Champions League team, coming in. But we'll see. We'll see what happens on that. Moving on to a striker that we already have got in Marcus Rashford, and Italian super agent Roberto Di Fanti has brought out a few points and actually got into detail about what's happened with Marcus Rashford. I'm just going to read out what he's actually said now. All the top sides in Spain and Italy have been keen to inquire about Marcus Rashford's availability and possibility of him leaving Manchester United this summer. Prior to any discussions, a valuation of around 40 to 50 million seemed fair, but it turns out the attacker would cost a lot more, between 70 and 80 million pounds. Oh, that's steep for Rashford. United are confident a club is unlikely to pay that, especially off the back of a poor season. Very true. So they're almost certain he will stay. They are happy for Rashford to stay. Also because they know that if they did sell him, they would need to replace him. And that is not a priority. Definitely not this summer anyway. Leading to what I just said. Not a priority. Forward being, I mean, Manchester United cannot afford to let Marcus Rashford go. I mean, you all slaughtered me on the interactive who should we keep help Ten Hag show the other day because I kept Marcus Rashford in the team. Now, I kept Marcus Rashford in there because there's no one else. Everyone seems to be forgetting what we've already lost in Mason Greenwood. That wasn't calculated. That wasn't in United's plans. Definitely not at the start of the season, looking ahead to this summer. Marcus Rashford and United have tried to price him out of the market, but what they're saying there is, if someone did come in for 80 million for Marcus Rashford, would Manchester United actually turn it down? Interesting. Marcus Rashford has come out and said he wants to stay. United are already posting out videos on Twitter of Marcus Rashford back in training. Obviously, as they usually do, trying to put a positive spin on everything like that. But this is why I kept Marcus Rashford in my team on the show the other night. Yeah, he doesn't warrant a place in the team, but Manchester United are out of options. We've just lost a massive chunk of our midfield, like I said. We have lost a lot in terms of playing and first team players. Yeah, we've saved ourselves a little bit of money and probably a lot of headaches in the future, but let's not forget the numbers. And like I said, Ten Hag's first season, you can't solely rely on youth players coming through and just filling the void. It's not going to work. It needs the mixture of both. Rashford United cannot afford to let him go. It's as simple as that. It's not going to happen because there's no one else. Martial, I think, looks like he wants out of the door. So we can't rely on him coming back. It is all boiling down to what Ten Hag can get back out of Marcus Rashford again, because he's not going to be he's not going to have it easy at all. He's not going to have it easy at all. And Rashford, looking at it, you'd go, has to still be at United. He carries on and says, I can also confirm that there have been some discussions very recently between the players' camp and Tottenham Hotspur. Interesting. The London club feel negotiating a deal for Marcus Rashford is virtually impossible, though. Probably why, being a competitor and obviously that price tag, they're not going to put that much risk. We know that Spurs have had investment. They're not going to put that much risk into spending that much on Marcus Rashford. There are other options out there for that money. And to be honest, probably better options out there for less money. So United deliberately pricing Marcus out of the market. And that is what them discussions that Spurs are talking about seem impossible is all about, in my opinion, because no one's going to pay that much. No one is. It's virtually impossible, though. So that transfer is no longer seems an option. So no to Spurs, no to any club in England. The Arsenal news that was reported a while ago has been quashed as well. No one abroad can afford him. Italy aren't that rich to spend that amount of money. I don't see anyone in Spain really wanting Marcus Rashford. There is only two teams that really could afford that price tag. Barcelona used to be able to do it. I don't see them being able to do it now. Obviously, their main target is Rafinha. So, and with what's happening at Real Madrid, honestly, I don't see anyone there. And that, for me, takes Marcus Rashford off the table in terms of an exit from Manchester United this summer. He also goes on to say, when it comes to Eric Bailly in particular, though, he is on a salary of $7 million a year gross. So it is going to be a massive challenge to find a club willing to meet his wage demands. It will be interesting to see where exactly the centre-back ends up next season. Are we putting that one down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and whoever was in charge then, Ed Woodward, in terms of giving Eric Bailly a 5-year contract for sitting out, doing nothing? Why would Eric Bailly sign a new contract? Who would think Eric Bailly should sign a new contract? He also goes on to say, obviously, Andres Pereira and Eric Bailly are definitely looking like players out of the door this summer. But it's all right saying that. But like it says there at the bottom, the wage demands that Eric Bailly is going to want are going to put anyone off. Why did Manchester United sign Eric Bailly up to a 5-year contract, knowing that none of the managers that he has played at Manchester United, played under, have ever really shown a keen interest in him? He's never had a good run of games. He had an all right one in the middle of last season where United went top of the league for that spell. And you know what? Credit to him, he was playing really well, but Ole basically derailed him by dropping him then for the big games against City and Liverpool, straight after his best run in the team that we've seen. He has been fit this season. I've been there at the games. I've seen him warming up with the subs. It just seems to be all he does. Why did we give him that deal? And that is going to scupper pretty much anything that anyone, is going to scupper any interest that any football club has got in Eric Bailly. If he's wanting anywhere near that sort of wage going forward, then let's be honest, it isn't going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen. As for Andres Pereira, we know Erik ten Hag wants to look at him. Said that much already. We know we're short on central midfielders. If it all goes Pete Tong, then what are we looking at? I mean, to be fair, I don't see it. I've said I don't see it. I don't want Andres Pereira back. I think he's had enough opportunities. I think it'd be easier to sell him. Just get rid of him. It's going to be a cheap price. And let's be honest, I don't think any Manchester United fans are going to lose sleep over it. I don't think we need to talk about it anymore because, like I said, it is Andres Pereira. The ship has sailed. Let's put it that way. See you later. Interesting quotes from Louis van Gaal regarding Jurrien Timber. Now, it is a worry because there are rumours now that Manchester United are looking at other targets as well for centre-back, because there is an opportunity that now Timber could re-sign for Ajax and stay there. Now, this would be the first real big worrying sign of the summer, because like I said on many shows, not just this week alone, where I said that is the easiest deal in the world to make happen if you want that player. If Ten Hag wants that player, then he goes and gets him. Louis van Gaal has been talking and asked if Jurrien Timber is ready to play in the Premier League. I think a player with his qualities can play in the Premier League. It's not a problem, but if he has to make this step now, that's another question. And that's how Louis van Gaal's done it. He's putting that thought process in. He's saying, you're young. You don't need to make that move yet. You've got the qualities to make it in the Premier League, but why would you move there? I mean, Louis van Gaal has already said, look, I'm only picking Dutch players for this World Cup campaign that are playing regular football. Now, for me, this is all just looks like Timber and his agent will look at this and go, if I sign for Manchester United, then I need guaranteed first-team football. That's what I'm saying. And are United right now, are we looking at this in depth and saying there's no guarantee that Manchester United are going to give Ten Hag the power to drop Harry Maguire? We've seen tonight alone, Harry Maguire walks back into that England team. And yeah, it may be because of injuries, but you know what? England aren't blessed with a lot of centre-backs at the moment, but Harry Maguire is worse than a lot that are out there, to be honest. I mean, I think at the moment, I said I'd take Tarkowski over Harry Maguire. That's how far I would go. I don't think he deserves his spot, but that poses the problem. When you look into it and you go in depth on this, and you start looking at what Van Gaal's saying, you start looking at it, like I said before, from a player's sort of point of view. Not only is it like what I said about Nunez in terms of how players have declined at Manchester United, Jurgen Timber will be looking at this and going, there's a World Cup coming in the winter. If I go to Manchester United, I know I'm not guaranteed first-team football. This is a big stumbling block for Manchester United in negotiations or Ten Hag in negotiations, because if Ten Hag hasn't got the power that we're all hoping he has got, where he can come in and say, you're out, you're out, you're out. I don't care who you are, what your price tag was, whether you're a previous captain, whether you're loved by the fans, whether you got player of the year last season. I do not give a toss. You're on the bench this week. This is how I'm playing. If he hasn't got the power to do that, then Jurgen Timber is a problem in coming into Manchester United, because I've said it all along. The first sign and the biggest test for Ten Hag this season will be will be Harry Maguire, and if Harry Maguire walks straight back into that team. If Ten Hag buys a centre-back, he wants that centre-back in his team because he knows he can play the style and he can play the system that Ten Hag wants to. Now, if Harry Maguire walks straight into this team, and United have actually bought a centre-back this summer, then I see that as a big, big red flag, and every United fan should be worrying from that point, because I do believe that Ten Hag needs all the power to make this work. If he hasn't got everything, he hasn't got everyone working behind him in the same direction, from upstairs to the coaches to the players, then we're going to have the same old rinse and repeat season for United, except it's just going to be a different manager at the helm. I mean, everyone's slagging off Ralf Rangnick. Apparently, it's been noted that the Austrian players have got no issue at all with Ralf Rangnick's tactics. They've all bought straight into it and are loving life under Ralf Rangnick. Come to United, though, and ego central, this is a big problem. Oh, hang on a minute. Don't quite like this system. It doesn't suit me. I can't play football off this foot. Well, this is where I went into it. It's like the left-sided centre-back, the right-footed centre-back. No. If I can play both sides, then professional footballers should be able to play both sides. Simple. Excuse after excuse after excuse. And that is what is going to be a stumbling block. Like I said, players' outlooks on Manchester United now are going to be different. They're actually thinking for themselves as well. And you know, if there are good agents out there, then they will be talking to their players as well and saying, look, this looks great financially. Yeah, moving to Manchester United, you'll get the big social medias following, you'll get the big unveiling, the video, whatever it is we do. It'll look great on paper, but let's not forget about your career. Because who did exactly the same thing that Jurgen Timber did? Donny van der Beek. He went to the top of Ajax, semi-final Champions League, looked like one of the best midfielders alongside, best midfield partnerships alongside De Jong that we've seen in a long time. De Jong went to Barca and Donny came to Manchester United. Donny van der Beek has lost 2 years of his career wasted at Manchester United, and there's no guarantee he's going to get that back. Unfortunately, for Everton, it was stop-start. Injuries sort of got in the way. He was showing good signs again. Ten Hag could revive that career and it could work out well for Manchester United. But There's no guarantee at Manchester United anymore. You come in as a hot property from another club, it could just be blown straight up out the water. This is why it's important that the players coming in are Ten Hag players. And if there is 5 players to come in, and there's 5 players that didn't really, or wasn't what we was really expecting or hearing the news about or transfer speculation was about, then that's probably good for Manchester United, because it means that the scouts have actually done their job. This is what I mean. This is like Manchester United, all of a sudden, the scouts at our football club have to earn their money. They have to go out and actually find players that are going to fit this system. We can't just go out anymore. It's Manchester United's arrogance within the transfer dealings of the last 10 years that have got us where we are right now. Oh, well, we spent this much money on this player that we scouted, but it didn't work out. No problem. And it wasn't a problem because these scouts have been here for 16 years. So all them mistakes before, no one's been held accountable for countless mistakes in the transfer market and recruiting. Only now that they've left after 16 years of it. So, I mean, Manchester United scouts now and the system in place now has to actually do a proper job, because they've just been in cruise control looking at what was looking good on FIFA and who had good FIFA stats or whatever it was. Who looked good in a certain league? Oh, he's got great goal stat. Look at him there. He's banging them in for fun over there in that country. Oh, that's what all the fans on Twitter are looking at. No, go out there and do a proper professional job and find a player that that manager at that time wanted. I mean, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he got given the world. He got given more money than any other United manager post Alex Ferguson. A player in every single position. But look at the players that we brought in. Could you say that any of them were properly scouted that came in under Solskjaer? Like, you have to go out and uncover these players, find these players. No, there were players that were out there already that were actually obviously good players, but they've not looked at them properly and they've not done the due diligence and broke everything down for this player and said to the manager, look, this player makes it. This is one that will fit what you're trying to do. The whole vision of the club has to change. And unless it's moving in the same direction that Ten Hag's moving, we're going to get, like I said, the rinse and repeat effects. And Manchester United will just fall into the same trap as we have done over the last 10 years, like I've said. There's obviously worrying signs now because nothing's happening. But I've said it before. I said, let's see what happens after this international break. 5 players are reportedly to come into Manchester United. 5 players. I mean, I would go centre-back, 2 midfielders, right-back, forward. Has to be around that sort of area of player, I would think. There are definite deals out there to be made. And there are deals out there for clubs in the Premier League that haven't got European football to make. And that's what we have got. Yeah, we've got the Europa League. But there's no excuse. We've seen what Aston Villa have done already with the likes of Kamara. Why has Kamara gone to Aston Villa? Because he wasn't sat on their asses doing nothing. They were proactive and they got that deal done before anyone else could even blink. They put the pieces in place. They made it happen. That's exactly what you'd expect a team and a club like Manchester United to be doing. But that doesn't happen with this football club. And already we're seeing it now. I think we're the only team within that top 6 that hasn't really made a move yet, if I'm thinking right. So worrying signs ahead. But let's see what happens after the international break first, because I think that's when all the moving and shaking is going to really kick off and start getting into overdrive. But guys, that pretty much finishes up tonight's show. Obviously, it's the quick show tonight because Mark is doing the watch along of England and Germany. Do jump over to That's Football after the show finishes here. All that's left for me to say is cheers, everybody, for tuning in and watching. Cheers for all the comments. Bang on again as usual. Give the video a like, share, and obviously subscribe to United Stand if you are tuning in for the first time. We will be back tomorrow. I doubt there'll be any signings made, but there may be a bit more speculation. You never know. A new day after internationals are finished. And don't forget, edging closer to that transfer window officially opening. So we'll see what happens as we go forward. But cheers for watching, everybody. Have a good night. Enjoy the game. Go watch it over there. That's Football with Mark.